Hey everybody, Obey the Papaya back at you again with another YouTube video. So this YouTube video is just going to be the best build for mid lane if you're auto-filled, just want to play mid lane and have the easiest time of your life. These are the best build for mid lane on the three characters that I think are absolutely busted, broken. They're the strongest mid laners right now. And it's because they provide such little risk for how much reward they bring in, right? This is all the way up to high elo, right? High elo, it's going to be the support that you're going to be worried about when it comes to these type of characters. But other than that, you're still going to cook really well. So let's get straight into it. So my first the three characters, the three mid laners overall that I think are just way too easy to play and are just really good in ranked right now, okay, is Gadget, Iggy, and Faye. All right, Gadget, Iggy, and Faye. Now these characters you practically build pretty darn similar to each other, okay? What you're going to do is, I will explain the build basically overall. We'll kind of go through a little bit of the items. Mega Cosm. Mega Cosm, let's actually go to crest first, but we saw Mega Cosm. Really quick on the crests. You're either going to go Soul Bearer or you're going to go Stasis or Epoch. Epoch is just going to let you sit there, take some, get some cooldown reduction while you're sitting there, bait the enemy team while you're throwing a lot of AoE abilities on these characters. Just kind of give you some time, okay? In reality, you want to sit back and kind of use yourself as bait, but what I like to do with these characters, I like to play on top of someone. So I look for the carry, I look for the offlaner, I look for the jungler. I play off of them. So I look at them and I go, I need to play off of you, okay? So I'm going to follow the carry. It doesn't matter. I farm, I get my rotation, right? I follow my carry even into late game. We get the farm, then we go straight into looking at going to the carry, going to the offlaner, and we stick with them, okay? And basically, you just want to help them out with whatever damage. That's what you're gonna get when you go into this build. You're gonna get the Mega Cosm proc, which is gonna do damage over time effects. Every time you're doing damage to them, you're going to be getting you're going to be doing the 6% target bonus health. You're going to do the 3% of the tax of the max HP over 3 seconds, and the additional application refresh on the duration. You're just going to output a ton of damage off of it. On top of that, you're getting really good mana, which gives you sustain, and you're going to get ability haste, which is really good in general. That's about 10% ability haste basically at that point, right? 9-10 ability haste percent. After that, you're going to kind of look at what does a team have, right? Is a team squishy or are they tanky? If they have 1-2 tanks, and if they have 2 tanks, you're going the tank build. If they have 1 tank and he's kind of not playing that well, I like to look into picking up like a Wraith leggings, or I look into picking up where is it? Tainted scepter. So let's discuss now. Tainted scepter usually is my second item, okay? Tainted scepter right here, it gives you 15 stacks. These 15 stacks will only go off when you hit a hero with your ability. So it's not going to proc on minions like Combustion, right? Now this 15 stacks is true damage. So 4 plus 1%, 1% of your total magic power, okay? Per stack, time plus the 4 damage on top of that is going to be true damage, right? And it's going to guarantee proc on an enemy. And basically, every second you gain a stack of malice basically. So you're proccing this malice stack when you're having your dot damage on Gadget, Faye, and Iggy, right? You're proccing that true damage. That's why Tainted Scepter is so good. And on top of that, it gives you anti-heal. On top of that, it gives you a bit of tankiness. It gives you really good magic power, and it gives you ability haste. It's a phenomenal item to get second, and it's why I prefer it. If they don't have heals, that's when I would look into taking Wraith leggings, right? Wraith leggings, you get 90 magic power, you get 5% movement speed, you get 10 pen. Remember, early game penetration armor, early game armor is more effective. As in, if you get 10 armor early game, right? It's kind of what do you call it? It's a logarithmic growth where you're going up like every stack of armor, and then it starts to kind of decay as you get higher and higher armor. You can't have 100% reduction, right? So armor is far more effective early game, right? Not necessarily that armor is better early game. HP is actually better early game in terms of wanting to be tanky, but armor itself is more effective early game. So that's why you want to get Wraith leggings in reality early, but it's still a really good stat because you get Carnage, ability to deal 12% bonus magical damage when they're below 40% HP, right? So it's a good item to get. It's something to consider. I will always take and look at getting Tainted Scepter, as it's gonna proc on minions, on heroes, and it's not gonna proc at 40% HP. It procs instantly, right? While you use your abilities, next wave, you're gonna have your 15 stacks again. You're gonna output more damage onto the mid laner, onto the tank, onto the carry, you know? And then when you kill someone, you get the stacks back, right? Then another item is also to look into Noxia, right? Noxia, it's straight raw magic power, it's straight raw and ability haste. So you don't get any type of mana, you don't get any penetration, right? But it gives you a ton of ability haste. It's kind of why I like to have it synergized really well when I have to focus on one target, right? So that's why I look into getting like Mega Cosm then Noxia, because then I'm getting, you know, 30 ability haste, and then I'm getting more damage based off of max HP, right? So you want to take a look at that and think, you know, how you want to add it to your build. But the thing is, all these items you're going to be adding to your build almost regardless. It's kind of just about what do I need at that point, right? You know, what do I need overall? I'm going to recommend you that Tainted Scepter, second item, is pretty much the best one overall in terms of sustain, damage, and everything, right? When you want to get into Glass Cannon, you look into Noxia. When you want to look into, yeah, a little bit, you know, more into CC fights type stuff, you go like Wraith, team-based fights, you go into Wraith Leggings. All right, so next, after you pick up Tainted Scepter, what I like to look at the picking up is going to be, once again, it's going to be situational in a way, but these three items are very important. I like to pick up Noxia. Noxia, just at that point, you're going to have a lot of tanks getting the max HP, damage, and all that stuff. A lot of the carries are going to have more HP. You're going to do a lot more damage. The ability haste is going to help out a lot. So you definitely, you know, that's when I would look into picking up Noxia. And then from that point on, we decide on, do I need, you know, do they have a lot of tanks? Do they have 2 to 3 tanks? Is that who I'm going to be prioritizing? Who's the one that's going to target that person I'm going to be following, right? And that's kind of when you decide, do I need Caustica at this point? I like having Caustica, but there isn't that many people that tend to build the resistance to it, right? So it depends on just what your target is. Now, Caustica, still a really strong item. It's not that it isn't. But this is when I decide on, do I want to pick up Caustica or do I want to pick up Wraith Leggings here, right? Basically, you know, Caustica, fourth item. The tanks start getting a lot tankier and all that stuff. It's definitely not a bad item to have. You also get some regen to kind of give you a tad bit more sustain. You know, it's overall, it is a good item. I would personally look into adding it here, but if I'm absolutely dominating the team and I'm doing a lot of damage and I'm kind of carrying and all that stuff, then I'll look into putting Wraith Leggings there, right? And now once you get towards the end here, this is kind of, once again, are you dominating in the game? If you're dominating in the game, I will try to get Oblivion Crown first, because you're going to get all these guys stacked. What? You're going to get 18% magical power from all these guys, right? And then you're going to get 110 on top of that. That's a ton of magic power, right? So I like to pick it up if I can, but I try to kind of see if I can push it back because it's a very expensive item to build. You need to get those potent staffs. But you could look, if you're doing a lot of damage in groups and stuff, pick up Combustion, right? If you're hitting them a lot with your AoE abilities, then you're going to reduce the cooldown of Pyro. You're going to get 7 pen. The pen got nerfed from a few patches ago, right? But this is something that you can look into considering. So at this point, I would look into getting Wraith Leggings if I'm dominating, you know, and they're grouping up a lot, or I'll look into getting Combustion for literally the same purposes. But do I need that movement speed? Am I getting them really low and I need to get the extra damage out? That's the stuff that's kind of dependent on you, you know. But I would personally, I look into getting like a Combustion route, and then I look into getting an Oblivion Crown. So this is what I would consider as my final items. This is what I would say is the best build for ranked, where you just got autofilled. You just want to sit back and and play off of someone. You know, this is what I would call the best build for the 3 best characters right now in ranked that provide a lot with very, very little risk.